We are here to talk about Nostr. You may hear Carla pronounce it as Nostr and me as Nostr.
I say Nostr now.
I'm going to keep calling it Nostr, so just so you guys know, don't be confused. We are talking about the same thing. But yeah, we're going to dive in and talk to you about Zapvertising.
So if you don't know who we are, I'm Carla.
And I am Walker.
And we are content creators, educators, and kind of the living memes jokers in the Bitcoin space, and now getting into the Nostr space, as you can tell.
You can also tell that I am verified on Twitter by my shirt. But first, we should probably go over what is Nostr, because maybe not everybody here knows what that means. So Nostr stands for Notes and Other Stuff Transmitted by Relays.
Which is just a fancy way of saying it's an open, decentralized protocol where people can build, share information, share any type of content without the fear of censorship from any centralized authority.
So that is a really important part, right? Open, decentralized protocol. Let me emphasize that again. Nostr is a protocol, not a platform. And Edward Snowden had a pretty excellent way of summing this up as he was also joining Nostr, which is, if a platform is a silo, a protocol is a river, no one owns it, and everyone is free to swim. It's quite beautiful.
So, with recent Twitter files and everything that's come around about censorship, government involvement with information, Nostr is not the only protocol that has come up to try to decentralize things. You know, you have Blue Sky that is also powered by a decentralized protocol. However, what makes Nostr extremely special to us Bitcoiners is, well, it has a lot of influence on another open network, Bitcoin.
So this is just a, let's say, amalgamation of memes that I've created to try and help you understand how it feels to zap on Nostr. What is a zap? Well, a zap is basically just a way to like something, to show that you value something, but instead of just tapping that little heart button like you do on Twitter, which is truly just meaningless and can be done very easily by any number of bots, on Nostr, you actually have to give value. And you have to give value in the hardest form of money that has ever existed, which is Bitcoin. So if you want to try and spam likes, that's fine, but you can't spam zaps. Zaps are actually sending value. And you just heard before on the panel, that entire panel was about value for value. You heard Nostr come up a few times. This is a completely new paradigm. The idea that in order to receive value online, you need to actually create it. And that's a very beautiful thing. And these, I think my favorite one is the one in the middle. That is basically Twitter looking over at Nostr, realizing, like, y'all are getting zaps over there? Like, you're getting money for your shit posting? Wow.
So as content creators, we have tried a lot of different platforms. We actually started on TikTok, which you can monetize, but there are a lot of issues with censorship. We immediately got shadow banned. We've had videos taken down. TikTok, as we all know, is not great for free speech. Then, of course, we have Instagram, which is basically trash because it's a lot of bots. You get very little reach for people who actually need to learn things, and monetizing is near impossible. You're better off wasting your time on Facebook, where you also have no audience, and, well, who still uses Facebook? Lastly, of course, we're on Twitter, which, you know, is a little better, right? Whether or not you agree with what Elon's doing, it's a little better than the other. But as someone who has put countless hours making videos, who gets millions of views and thousands of likes on Twitter, I've made exactly $0, 0 Satoshis on Twitter. But you know what? On Nostr, maybe I'll get 50 likes, but I got 1 million sats, and that's 1 million sats for a video, 1 million more than 0 than I've ever gotten. So as a creator, it's really a no-brainer.
And if you haven't heard this song that we have on screen, it's Zap Me Mama, a little ode to Wagon Wheel that Carla spun up before we went to Costa Rica. It's quite a jam. So we told you we were going to talk about Zapvertising here, right? Before we talk about what Zapvertising is, we need to talk about what the problem with advertising right now is. And I don't even quite know where to start with that. So first, you've got the massive amounts of data, personal data, that needs to be collected about you, and that is collected about you on all of these free platforms. The platforms are free because you are the product, right? Your data is the product, your eyeballs are the product, your attention is the product. So that's one problem. The other problem is, if we shift the focus a little bit, as a company who wants to do some advertising, you have to spend an absurd amount of money to have access to that platform's proprietary algorithm, which purports to throw your content, your advertisement, in front of just the right eyeballs to lead to just the right number of conversions, which are sometimes easy to track and other times more difficult. But the ad spend is massive. That's why all of these platforms are publicly traded companies, because they make a ton of money with your eyeballs for that free product, right? So that's another problem. And it seems my wife has something she'd like to say.
And advertising, as someone who has a background in marketing, advertising is kind of a dirty word. We find ads annoying. And, maybe once in a while we find a useful ad that we're like, oh, I'll buy this product and it's useful. But when we all started using Nostr, and for social media specifically, Damus, we were all like, ew, I don't want ads here. One of the things I like about it is that it doesn't have ads. It's not Twitter. It's not spammy and annoying. So we thought to ourselves, well, advertising still can be useful, but what if there's another way to do it?
And so I'd like you to imagine, if you will, a new advertising model where advertisers could pay content creators directly to get their ads featured on that creator's post or that developer's post, where companies could send value directly to potential customers and build their brand reputation and their social following along the way. That'd be kind of nice, wouldn't it? So I was inspired by this lovely gentleman in the front seat, Will, aka JB55, the creator of Damus. Can we give him a round of applause real quick? If you're not on Nostr yet and you are using an iPhone, you can download Damus from the App Store or go to damus.io. It is my favorite mobile client and it is just wonderful. A bit of a Damus maximalist. And if you're on Android, you can check out Amethyst. If you're on the web, you can check out anything like primal.net, snort.social, iris.to. Hit us up afterwards. We're happy to answer any questions. But Will had this idea that he put out, and this was back in February. And he said, one way companies can advertise on Nostr is by zapping large amounts on popular posts. Advertising revenue goes straight to individuals creating good content. And I thought, wow, that's a really cool idea. What if we tested this idea out with feet?
Enter Footster.
So, feet. Wow, we all have them. Round of applause for feet. I'm standing on mine right now. Fantastic. So, Footster stands for feet or other things and stuff transmitted by relays. This started out and still is a bit of a joke. And if you've been on Nostr for a little while, you're probably well aware of the hashtag Footster, where basically someone like Carla, wearing that lovely pair of shoes, could take a picture of them, throw them up in a note on Nostr, and use the hashtag Footster perhaps, and all of a sudden the zaps just start rolling in. Wow, what an amazing thing. And so as we were kind of getting this Footster trend going, I thought, well, I want to try out Will's idea for this new way that advertisers could potentially use Nostr. Let's actually try this out. Let's try it out with feet. And so I wrote an article, published it. You can go to zapvertise.com, footster.com/zapvertise. You can read it on BTC Times. There was a really great response to this. People thought, wow, this is kind of like weird that you were doing this with feet to us for multiple months, but okay, you were zapping us the whole time. Just a couple of weeks ago, we saw Blockstream. You may know them. They've got a booth like right over there. They started Zapvertising. This is their post on Twitter, so excuse the Twitter and the Nostr discussion. But it basically summarized what they had been doing. They were going on Nostr, they were zapping small amounts and sometimes large to a number of different people, and all of a sudden, everybody started talking about Blockstream. They started talking about Zapvertising. People started creating organic content free of charge at the time, but with the hopes that they might tap into those sweet Blockstream zaps. That's kind of amazing, right? They became quite the topic of the day, and they've done another round of it recently, again, very successful.
So how does one Zapvertise? Well, it's quite simple, really. Let's say I'm a business and I have a hardware wallet signing device that I want to promote a deal for. Let's say it's a buy one, get one half off. Well, I see a popular creator, let's say it's Will or Jack Dorsey, and we know that their notes get a lot of visibility. Well, instead of spending my money on typical pay-per-click or whatever ad spend, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna allocate 100,000 Satoshis. And I'm gonna zap their post, including an image or a link with my deal that I wanna show the world. And whoever has the highest amount of Satoshis will then be visible, similar to a threaded advertisement, but it'll be a competitive way to get ranked. So let's say I'm Blockstream and I put 1 million sats. Well, if you're CoinKite, you're going to want to do 1.5 million sats to get above them. So it's an organic way to rank as well as get visibility. But it's not only businesses. Let's say I make a new video and I really want visibility. Well, they put 1 million, 1.5. I'm going to come in and say, look at my silly video. I'm putting 2 million.
And this is kind of an incredible thing. Like, you have the ability to do Zapvertising in different ways. You can do what Carla said and try to zap high amounts. And Will, God bless him, just this morning I saw him in the lobby, and he's like, oh, yeah, I just wrote some code, I don't know when, but managed to just write some code to push the latest Damus build, which actually includes more tools for Zapvertising, in that now, not only do you have your separate Zaps view, but the people who put the highest zap amounts on any particular post, they're actually shown in the comments section now. So this is kind of a game changer. You, again, are not able to spam this because in order to spam it, you would have to spend a lot of sats, right? There's attaching a monetary premium to getting eyeballs on this. But instead of that premium going through a web of different advertisers and to the platform and to the shareholders, well, Nostr has no CEO, like Bitcoin has no CEO. This is just going directly to that creator. Now, you can also do what Blockstream was doing, where you're just zapping small amounts. They wanted to build up their following on Nostr, and they also wanted to just generate some buzz and some really inexpensive content that would be organically made for them by users. So they were zapping 100 sats, 1,000 sats, maybe 10,000 sats if they saw something they really liked. But does it work? Right? That's the question. Does this actually work?
And, well, we don't entirely know yet because it's still early, but we have a pretty good feeling about it.
Yeah, so you can see here a number of folks on Nostr pulled together some of these. Derek Ross, Blockstream has figured out Zapvertising. I like it. We're all noticing them and talking about them. Mission accomplished. And we get sats. Win-win. This is the future of advertising on Nostr. I think maybe my favorite one is this one over here. I hate Zapvertising. Wait, I hate advertisement. I hate the fact that I would probably use advertisement. I hate the fact that I will probably one day use Zapvertising. Zapvertising is not that bad. I just love like the mental progression there. This one right here, Joel, how does one become a target of Blockstream advertising?
Imagine wanting to get advertised to.
Like, truly, this is somebody begging to be advertised to because they know that they are actually getting value for their eyeballs. They're actually getting value for their attention directly to them. This is not something that happens on Twitter, right? Or anywhere.
Or anywhere.
So, who can Zapvertise?
You can Zapvertise. You can put a picture of a foot and Zapvertise that. You don't have to be a business. It can be literally anyone.
Footster is not incorporated, just so you guys know. So I was just zapping around that link to that website, footster.com. And I did this for a period of around a month after Nostrika, maybe a little bit more. That's a lie, I'm still doing it today. But in that time frame, it generated thousands of unique website visits. This is a website where I just posted some like famous actresses' feet with Footster written on it, and it got thousands of unique visits. Imagine if you actually had a product, a useful service attached to that.
And do you know how much ad agencies pay, or you pay ad agencies to get that kind of those kind of metrics to get website views? Like, it's nutty.
It is truly insane. And so here you have a couple of examples. Primal.net, I mentioned them earlier. They're a web client for Nostr. They started doing some Zapvertising. You know, Primal out here dropping 10K zaps on Nostriches. Second company to try out Zapvertising. If you don't know what a Nostrich is, also, it's the unofficial official mascot for Nostr as declared by Will and then later by Jack. It all came up, it's just that purple ostrich you saw at the beginning, and it came about after I asked Will's ChatGPT bot on Nostr to write a joke about Nostr, and it came up with, what do you call a nosy ostrich? A nostrich. Really terrible classic AI joke, but I thought, oh wow, nostrich, that's kind of cool. And so that stuck, and here we are. But we also have other folks like Amsoil Lube Direct. He's selling motor oil, right? And this guy is on Nostr, and he is trying out Zapvertising. We have a sovereign welder who does, where is he? In the Tampa Bay area. He's doing welding and accepting Bitcoin. And he's like, I'm gonna try out this Zapvertising thing. So, opportunities for companies to Zapvertise. Let's just retire the word advertising. We have opportunities for creators, not just to be the recipients of zaps, not just to be the recipients of value, but with a new tool for them to share their work. Carla can zap Jack Dorsey, her latest video, right? She can zap him that link. It'll show up, right, as a playable link in Nostr. And maybe Jack sees that then, where he wouldn't have otherwise, because there's value attached to it. For developers as well. Developers now have a new channel. You know who some of the most followed and interacted with people are on Nostr? It's developers, like Will, okay? It is people like Pablo F7Z, who built zaplife.lol and a number of other things, which actually allows you to see zaps in real time. You can also see those Zapvertisements that may have been added in there. So this is creating more value for everyone. And I like to think of it as not just value for value, but value attracting value. As more and more companies, Bitcoin companies first, but I think many more later, come into Nostr, start Zapvertising, start spending a small portion of their ad spend via zaps, via Zapvertisements. That creates more incentive for new people to join Nostr, to say, you know, how do I become a target of Blockstream's advertising? People want this. They want to get Satoshis, right? There's only 21 million Bitcoin. Like, those few sats now might be worth quite a bit down the road. And so, with Nostr, value is the algorithm. There's no personal data collected on Nostr. They don't need to know your name. They don't need to know your email, your birthday. You don't have to show them an ID to prove you're who you are. You can just join. You just generate a key pair. It's very, very easy. You can do it in a matter of seconds. But when I say value is the algorithm, what I mean is this is now how you can get your message in front of people by exchanging value. More than that, there are tools like primal.net which allows you to actually view feeds based on zaps. You can do this at zaplife.lol as well. But with Primal, they've done something very cool where you can filter your network, your extended network, by number of reposts, things like that, but also by the most zapped posts. And I believe that Damas is also looking at integrating some of that stuff too, because it's about opting in, right? And it's about value. So you might be a business, you might be a creator. How do you get started with this?
You just start. Get your keys and you just start. Or go a step further, spin up your own relay. But it's really that easy.
Yeah, like truly, you can download Damas and be up and running on Nostr in a matter of seconds. It is very easy. Don't post your private key on Nostr. Think of it like your password or your Bitcoin private key. Keep it secret. Keep it safe. Now, it's important to remember that we are still early. This was from December when Jack was first getting on Nostr, and he said, this is exactly what early pre-5,000 user Twitter felt like, but better. And these are some pictures of cute little baby nostriches. Don't they just warm your heart? But as early as we are, this is just a few stats on actually some of the interactions, some of the actual user data on Nostr. And thank you to Primal for putting this together on their site, because I find it fascinating. You've got just shy of 500,000 active users. You can see the number of public keys that have been created, because again, you can spin up these public keys like nothing. But we're at about 500,000 active users. You've got nearing 1 million total zaps now, and over 10 Bitcoin have been zapped. This is just plebs zapping plebs right now, right? Imagine once companies start picking up on this and realizing, oh wow, I can spend a fraction of my normal advertising budget and get 10 times the conversions and be actually, practicing what I preach using Bitcoin. That's amazing. You got over 100 million total events. So that includes all different event types of, notes, likes, everything. That's and zaps, of course. And 55 million public notes as well. Sure, some of that might be spam, but this network is only going to grow. And from that previous slide of this is exactly what early pre-5,000 user Twitter felt like, but better, well, we've come a long way in just a few months. And it's pretty cool to see this in action, to see the developers building on this, to see creators getting creative, and now to see companies Zapvertising.
As Bitcoiners, as you all know, we don't always realize it, but we kind of speak our own language, right? We keep creating new words, and one of them being Zapvertise. But the simple way to explain it is just give value, get value.
And try Nostr. We're not telling you to delete all of your other social media accounts or anything like that. I'm still on Twitter, yes, I still use it. But try Nostr if you haven't. If you're a company, consider Zapvertising on Nostr. Consider just taking one little part of your advertising budget and putting it to good use in an open, decentralized, permissionless network that, yeah, it's starting with social media now, but who knows where this may go. There's a lot of opportunity here. There's a lot of opportunity to support developers who are building on this, and a lot of Nostr developers have also done a lot of great work on Bitcoin. And the way we think about this is this purple wave with Nostr, that's the same as the orange wave, right? We see people getting onboarded to Bitcoin through Nostr, who had never touched Bitcoin before, who tried Nostr and said, oh wow, this Bitcoin thing is kind of neat. No shitcoins involved. They just went straight to maximalism. That's a beautiful thing.
Well, find us on Nostr.
Yeah, so you can scan these Damas QR codes. Sure, well, you guys can clap, I guess. It's fine. Huzzah. So these are our handy-dandy Damas QR codes. You can scan those. You can check out our profiles on Primal as well. They've given us nice, neat little links there. We still have 5 minutes left, so at this point, we'd like to open it up for questions. Do you have anything you're curious about? Anything that you think we're completely wrong about? Any funny anecdotes to share? We're happy to take any if you have them now.
So, hello. First of all, thanks, great presentation. I think I didn't really get it. You mentioned with zapping, I can advertise with Zapvertising, I can pay Satoshis, Bitcoin, that I get many eyeballs. So, and if I pay 1 million Satoshis, but he would pay 2 million, he's getting ranked higher. So, but does that mean that my ad is not shown, and who's getting my zaps then?
Yours will still show up. As far as who's getting your zaps, they're always going to the person whose post you're interacting with.
The creator.
Yeah, to the creator. And that, developer, it could be Carla posting a video, it could be Will posting an update on a new Damas build, could be anything. You also don't have to do the large zap amount form of Zapvertising. You can instead say, I just created my profile on Nostr, I want to get the word out there about my company, about my product. I'm just going to zap a few hundred, maybe a few thousand sats to a bunch of different people. So it doesn't have to be an all or nothing type of thing. You can do this in little bites. And it's a great way when people see a like roll in, if you see that on Twitter, You may not follow that person, especially if it's a company. It's like, okay, here we go again. But somebody gives you value, and there's a different mentality attached to that, I think. At least we've seen this personally, and as you saw from some of the other, not testimonials, but just notes from random plebs, people are actually like looking forward to this, asking to be Zapvertised to, because they want those sats. I hope that answers the question.
No, I didn't get it. So I spent 100 sats or saps
Yeah.
that to say, hello, I'm here. So to post my profile. So who's getting the set then? The one who's looking at, or?
No. Anytime you zap on Nostr, those sats go directly to the person that you zapped. There we go. Mags just got his advertisement. So if you zap Mags, those sats are going directly to her wallet. They don't go to anyone else. When I say that you're getting paid for your attention, what I mean is that the person who you are zapping is getting paid. Other people who may be viewing those zaps and seeing that, zap comment come in, they're not getting anything out of that. There are some options that may happen in the future where you may be able to have zap splits. Perhaps there's a way to do that. But for right now, anytime you zap, goes directly to that person.
And let's say, you're not a huge account or anything, but you make a really fire meme, and that meme keeps getting reposted. It's getting a lot of traction. A company might say, I don't know who this guy is, but this meme is really funny, and it keeps getting shared. So that company is going to throw 100,000 sats at that meme, even though they don't know who you are, and you, the meme creator, just get to keep the money.
You can also run something called a Zapathon, where you say, I've got a budget of 50,000 sats. Until that budget runs out, I'm going to sap anyone who makes a meme about my company. Here's an image to get you started. Use this, make a meme out of it. That's another way you can do it. And that's a really great way to also just drive engagement with the community as a whole. And you're going to get some great content out of it for a few sats.
And you can reuse that content for other things too.
Other questions? Concerns?
All right, well, thanks, guys.
Thank you guys so much. Go out there and try Zapvertising. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer them. Thank you to the developers who built this protocol so that we can use it to share feet and other things. Cheers.